They say everything is fair and foul in war. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm glad, as always, to have you here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. There's exciting conversation here for you on my channel. I'm very grateful if you have subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do well to subscribe to the channel. Do turn on your notifications and then make sure that anytime you select or anytime there's a new video, you are first to have it. I'm consistently going to look out for those who are first to watch the videos. If you're a new viewer also, I would love to hear from you. You can send me a DM on Fiifi_Manfred. You can send me an email on Fiifi-862@gmail.com. You can send me an email at Fiifi-Manfred@gmail.com. And then of course, you can reach out to me on all socials as well. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, Fiifi_Manfred on Twitter. Thank you very much for choosing me. I have watched that Chelsea game against Manchester City for 3 more times. And boy, there is no way you tell me that Chelsea just won 1 point out of that game. Absolutely no way. No way. You see, I had my issues with Mauricio Pochettino's appointment before he came in. But I go back and watch that game. I watch a couple more games. And I look at that game, I'm like, boy, that's the reason why I'm here. Thank you very much for choosing me. I'm going to be back with you soon, essentially, to tell you exactly the nitty-gritty, the things you missed in that game Chelsea played against Manchester City. Inside there, the very detail that you failed to pick up. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. It all started in a pre-match press conference where Mauricio Pochettino went into the pre-match presser, and journalists will ask him, like every other game, that if Chelsea were the protagonists or antagonists, are they going in as underdogs in such a game? And I love the mentality. The mentality with which Mauricio Pochettino answered that question really did make me feel that the team on a whole different wavelength as it stands now. Now, Pochettino didn't accept that Chelsea were going to be underdogs in that game. Now, if you look at Manchester City and you look at the kind of football that they've played in the last 4 years at least since Pep Guardiola's appointment, you can tell that almost every team that goes to play against them is essentially an underdog, unless maybe they are playing the Liverpools of the early days in club time, the New Day Arsenal, when they are playing, say, the Real Madrid side, the Barcelonas, and whatnot. Maybe a Bayern that you say, okay, fine, then these guys aren't underdogs. But at Chelsea, essentially a new project, under a new manager, new ownership, club direction even isn't fully ironed out as it stands now. Really, there were going to be concerns as if Chelsea were going to go into this game as underdogs. But Pochettino turned on to his media assistant. He smiled. And this is what he said, and I quote, that no, we are Chelsea. We don't go into games as underdogs. We are essentially going there and we will try to be protagonists. Oh my God. That was next level mentality monster stuff. You see, when Pochettino began the season at Chelsea, especially in preseason, he consistently told the press that Chelsea will win now. Not wait for 5 years, not wait for 2 years, not build anything. They will go ahead and win. But when results began to plummet, when they played against Brentford, when they played against West Ham, when they played against Nottingham Forest, when they played against teams and essentially were not getting results, a lot of people realized that Mauricio Pochettino's tone, diction, was trying to be more cautious about telling people how his team is a young team and they will need time to grow and whatnot. And that made sense. That's essentially the reality. But in a game like this, a mammoth game like this, where he is faced with one of his biggest opponents, and in the pre-match analysis, I did mention to everybody that, you see, Pep has a history with Josep Guardiola at Espanyol, even at Tottenham Hotspur, even when he came to Southampton. He has a way of finding his way against him. And one of the best defensive coaches in the world, but not necessarily a defensive coach. And when I say that, I mean he's able to coach excellently the defensive side of the game. But he's not generally a defensive coach, like say an Antonio Conte, a Jose Mourinho, essentially, or however you want to put the other guys. But he coaches that part of the game so well. His teams are almost every time able to go toe-to-toe with them. Mind you, these two guys, their biggest role model are the same person, is the same person, which is Marcelo Bielsa. Bielsa is the person that took Mauricio Pochettino under his tutelage. He was his captain under Argentina. He went through the ranks with him. He learnt under him. He shouldered him on. He asked them questions. He grew. In fact, he says that because of him and his principles. It is hinged on that he thinks that he thought that he was going to be a manager. See, for Joseph Guardiola, there's a brilliant story in Joseph Guardiola's autobiography of how he traveled from Catalan, the backs in Barcelona, and then went straight to Argentina because at the time Marcelo Bielsa wasn't coaching and wanted to meet this man that they call El Loco, literally meaning mad. He goes and he meets El Loco. He tells him that he wants to be a football manager and he wants to build his principles around what he used to do: intensity, high press, being the faces of the opponent, turning it over quickly, and doing all of those things. So the rivalry was there. The history between them was there. Again, if you want to go back to the history between the two, you go back to not too long ago, I think in 2016, where Tottenham Hotspur were en route to their first Champions League final ever. And it was under this manager called Mauricio Pochettino, an Argentine who had come to Europe and honed his craft. He played in that quarterfinal. Hugely dramatic, like this one. Essentially, he was controlling the chaos. And he knows that Pep Guardiola's team do not like to have chaos in their games. That's why they struggle against teams like Real Madrid, who create a lot of chaos in the Champions League. And he got that far, beats them, went to beat Ajax, even though they had issues in the first leg in that game against Ajax, and then went on to the final, lost to Liverpool. So the rivalry has always been there. It has been consistent. But in-game, when you see Pochettino in a pre-match press conference shaping the protagonist mindset of his players, it tells you that the mentality of the boys isn't where it used to be. Now, I will go back to Graham Potter and I'll consistently say, I do not think Graham Potter was a bad manager. He is just not the kind of manager that has the charisma to coach Chelsea Football Club, given the circumstances that they were in. In times like this, as a coach for a club like Chelsea, Chelsea needed somebody who is very charismatic, who could face the media and then face the music as well. Somebody who will not hide and put his hand in between his thighs. And that's exactly the kind of man that Graham Potter was. It's not bad. Not everybody can be charismatic. Not everybody can walk into a room and everybody turns and looks at him. He's not that kind of guy. Essentially, he just wanted to do his job. He's a brilliant tactical brain. But it didn't succeed at Chelsea for him because of these reasons. Because of some of these things. And for Pochettino, you can tell that the mentality of the boys is a notch higher. In post-match, I've seen what the Chelsea players have posted in reaction, the things that they've said. Moise Caicedo has said that they're excited that they played well against Tottenham Hotspur and then came to get a draw. And although they didn't win against City, they realized that they played well. Nobody's excited about a draw. Yes, Chelsea fans are excited, and that makes sense because it is essentially what Chelsea have won, not just the points. What have they won? Mentality, strength, confidence, going to play against some of the big boys. Chelsea will welter if this was early part in the game, early part of the season, where they go down by a goal to 0 and then they are worried. 4 minutes, Chelsea quickly reacted and got that equalizer. It tells you the kind of job that mentally, psychologically, Mauricio Pochettino and then Jesus are doing on the psyche of the boys. It is something that I look at and I say, wow, this is brilliant. This is brilliant stuff. Tactically. Now, in terms of turnovers in the English Premier League, no team, and I repeat, no team has turned the ball over, has won turnovers, has had more turnovers than Chelsea Football Club. And that is key to everything that you want to play if you want to press high. And you see, when players are able to stay fit for a very long time, and then their body gets used to this kind of play, that intensity, then you know that they're not going to be getting injured a lot of the times. At the beginning, I did an analysis where I explained to people that there is a reason why Chelsea's players are getting injured, and it's because they're not used to this kind of intensity. And it's going to take a while. If they stay fit, they play together for a while, and then their bodies get used to it, there's no way they are going to get injured. Now you look at that intensity from Conor Gallagher, and I think it comes straight from the manager. And that's what Chelsea have won. A brilliant manager that's imbibed mental strength in the players. And then he gets into the team, players like Conor Gallagher, who has run 12 kilometers for the 4th time this season. 12 kilometers. Maybe you don't know what 12 kilometers is. 12 kilometers is a long stretch of distance. for a player on the field of play. And that is brilliant. The intensity that he puts in games. Also, Chelsea have the highest press setups, the highest press structures. Number of times that teams have pressed the most in this season. Chelsea has also won that. Chelsea has won on XG 11 times out of 12. And it is the first time in a very long time that Pep Guardiola's team are losing out on XG in the English Premier League. There was a graphic where I posted, and I think I'll do that again, where it shows how much Pep's teams control games, so much so that you just cannot create quality chances against them. You have maybe the ball, but you have it in your own area. They'll counter press you, they win the ball off you, and then they'll play forward. And then you're in trouble. But here, this guy, Josep Guardiola, was put to the sword by a nemesis of his called Mauricio Pochettino and his team. The press has gone up there. The turnovers, Chelsea are winning it. XG, Chelsea are winning it. This is the first time in the last 3 years under Pep Guardiola at City that they've conceded 4 goals. 4 solid goals. And the times Chelsea were down again, down, came up, and then boom. It has been such a job. And you look at that game and you're like, bro, that's an excellent job that they did across the field of play. I love the Mazzella kind of play. I did a tactical analysis for you the last time. The rotations on the right-hand side, Enzo Fernandez rotating quickly. Sometimes Conor Gallagher staying right on his shoulder. A lot of the times you see Cole Palmer dropping deep to come and do that job. It was clear that Mauricio Pochettino didn't want Conor Gallagher near the ball in build-up. If he wanted him there, he wanted him there in flex and in one-touch passes because he knew that he could be targeted. But the job was to hassle Rodri. He was on Rodri's face. I have never seen a midfielder. I have never seen Rodri, Cascante, hassle like that by any player. He was rattled. And that's the kind of football that Chelsea did play against Manchester City. And that's what they've won. And they've won that aura. They've won the confidence. They've won the arrogance that they need to go into games again. So they go and play against Newcastle at St. James Park, and they know that, whoa, we've played against tougher teams, and you are even struggling. We can get the job done against it. It's Eddie Howe's side. They are much more physical. We can be physical with them. You don't want to be technical and tactical. We can be tactical with them. You go back and you go and play against Brighton and Hove Albion, and you know you deserve a place up top than them. And that is what Mauricio Pochettino has done. And so I tell you, Chelsea won just more than a point. In that game against Manchester City, it was just more than a point. Just more than a point. And that's why I've been saying this. It was more than a point. So much so that you could tell in their faces. Guys, this is where time will permit me. I have to run. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If not subscribe, you should now. People are running and leaving you behind. All the content is here. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Do choose all. I'll see you. Bye.